Every sport surely has its bad days, but football doesn't get worse than these 10 moments. Missed penalties, last-minute collapses, and even plane crashes that steal the future from the sport we love. So grab your tissues, maybe a stress ball, and let's take a trip down memory lane. But be warned, this trip might leave you needing a long, hot shower to wash away the feels. And yes, we already know what's number one for every Barca fan here. Number 10. Emiliano Sala plane crash, 2019. In January 2019, football suffered a heartbreaking loss. Emiliano Sala, a rising Argentine striker, was on his way to join Cardiff City, becoming the club's record signing. This was a dream come true for Sala because now he had the chance to prove himself on the biggest stage. Sala wasn't a household name yet, but his talent was undeniable. He'd been tearing it up in France's Ligue 1, scoring goals and leading the attack. Cardiff fans were buzzing, excited to see their new hero in action. But that excitement turned to horror when the plane carrying Sala disappeared over the English Channel. Days of searching yielded no survivors. Sala's story ended far too soon. A young talent with a bright future stolen in an instant. Fans across the globe mourned, with tributes pouring in from Nantes, his former club, and Cardiff City. Even today, Sala's legacy lives on in the hearts of fans who never got to see him reach his full potential. Number 9. Christian Eriksen collapses, Euro 2020. This is relatively recent, so it will be easy to picture the scene. Euro 2021, Denmark versus Finland. The first half is scoreless, the tension thick in the Copenhagen air. Suddenly, in the 43rd minute, Christian Eriksen, Denmark's star midfielder, collapses on the field. Absolute silence descends. Teammates rush to his side, their faces etched with worry. They shout for the medical personnel who sprint onto the pitch with pounding hearts. They react with lightning speed as Eriksen receives CPR right there on the field. The entire stadium holds its breath in a collective prayer. Thankfully, their swift action proved crucial. After what felt like an eternity, Eriksen regains consciousness and is rushed to hospital. Later, he was diagnosed with cardiac arrest and underwent surgery to have an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, ICD, fitted. While it forced him to leave his Italian club due to league regulations, Eriksen eventually returned to the pitch a year later. However, the fear of a similar incident occurring still hasn't left the young lad. Number 8. Istanbul 2005, Champions League Final. Now it's about time we rewind our clocks back to Istanbul 2005, the Champions League final that still haunts Liverpool fans and gives AC Milan supporters nightmares. This wasn't just a loss, but a complete collapse for the ages. Imagine this, Liverpool, the underdogs, are cruising. They storm into halftime 3-0 up against a star-studded AC Milan side. The trophy practically has their names on it. But then the unthinkable happens. Milan comes out on fire in the second half. In a 6-minute frenzy, they scored 3 unanswered goals. The dream crumbles faster than a stale biscuit. Here's what made it so tragic: the sheer speed of the collapse. 1 minute you see Liverpool celebrating, the next you see them drowning in despair. Steven Gerrard, Liverpool's captain, had a blinder of a first half, but even his passion couldn't stop the tide. Stay tuned, because what's coming next will leave you shocked. Number 7. World Cup 1982 semi-final. 2005 was sad, but let's hop onto our time machine and go back even further. The semi-final of the World Cup 1982, also known as the Night of Seville. This was played between France and West Germany, and it was truly a rollercoaster of emotions. France was a golden generation, packed with Michel Platini's silky skills and a watertight defence. They were hungry for their first World Cup title. West Germany, on the other hand, were seasoned veterans, a winning machine with a ruthless streak. The tensions in the sweltering Spanish heat was palpable. The match itself was a war worth its hype. France took the lead, then West Germany equalised. It was a back-and-forth battle, each team refusing to yield. Then, with extra time looming, the drama truly unfolded. West Germany's Schumacher, a goalkeeper with a reputation for being, well, let's just say enthusiastic, launched a reckless challenge on France's Battiston. It was a horror tackle, leaving Battiston unconscious and his World Cup dreams shattered. Shockingly, no red card was shown. France somehow managed to pull themselves together, scoring again, but just as victory seemed within reach, a late equaliser from West Germany sent the game to penalties. The shootout itself was a nerve-wracking affair, ending with a gut-punching 5-4 victory for West Germany. The tragedy was obvious. It wasn't just about the heartbreaking loss for France, it was the feeling of injustice. The brutal tackle on Battiston, the lack of a red card, it all felt like a cruel twist of fate. It left a permanent scar on French football and sparked a fierce debate about fair play that continues to this day. Number 6. 1999 Champions League Final. Maybe we went back too far into the past. Let's come a little further into the future, to the 1999 Champions League Final. Manchester United are chasing a historic treble, but Bayern Munich dominate the Champions League Final. Imagine it, you're Bayern, leading 1-0 with seconds left. The trophy's practically in your cabinet, but then everything falls apart. United won a corner in stoppage time. The keeper, Schmeichel, even comes in racing up for it. Can you believe it? And guess what? It works. Sheringham equalises in the most dramatic fashion. One half of the crowd is seen jumping out of their pants to celebrate. The other half sinks back into their chairs with a deep, dark scar seared into their chests. Number 5. Euro 2008 Final. The Euro 2008 final wasn't a tragedy in the traditional sense, but a heartbreak for German fans. The first half saw a strong German start, with Lukas Podolski and Michael Ballack threatening the Spanish defence. However, Spain clawed their way back into the game. In the 33rd minute, Xavi launched a perfectly weighted pass that found Torres in behind the German backline. The young striker, then playing for Liverpool, outmuscled Philipp Lahm and slotted the ball past the keeper. This solitary goal proved decisive. Despite Germany pushing for an equaliser in the second half, the Spanish midfield controlled the tempo. Spain's backline held firm, and Casillas made a couple of crucial saves to secure their first major trophy since 1964. While the Germans were left disappointed, the final marked the beginning of Spain's golden era in international football. Number 4. World Cup 2010 Final. South Africa 2010 World Cup Final. Holland, a team full of superstars, are on the cusp of glory. They haven't won the tournament before, and this could be their moment. Then, Andres Iniesta steps up. Number 3. World Cup 2014. Every nation dreams of World Cup glory on home soil, but for Brazil in 2014, the dream turned into a nightmare. They went in with much excitement, but Germany had other plans for them. We all remember how Germany ripped them apart, winning 7-1 in the semi-final. Tears streamed down Brazilian faces, with the stadium silent in disbelief. A national humiliation that sent shockwaves through the world of football. It makes you wonder, how do you even pick yourself up after something like that? Number 2. Barcelona versus Bayern. Speaking of humiliating defeats, there's nothing that hurts a Barca fan more than this. The infamous 8-2 win by Bayern Munich in the 2020 Champions League quarter-final. This wasn't just a loss, but a complete demolition. Barcelona's defence looked like Swiss cheese. Right from the get-go, Bayern carved them open with lightning-fast passes. By half-time, it was already 4-1, with Barcelona's lone goal a consolation prize. The second half was even worse. Bayern relentlessly exploited gaps in Barcelona's midfield, leaving their backline exposed. Every Bayern attack felt like a tsunami wave crashing down on Barcelona. The final score? A staggering 8-2. A result that sent shockwaves through the world of football and left Barcelona fans wondering if their once mighty team had crumbled to dust. Number 1. The Munich air disaster. The greatest tragedies, they say, are the oldest. For Manchester United fans, that happens to be on February the 6th, 1958. The Busby Babes, a young electric team brimming with potential, were on their way back from a European Cup match. Then, disaster struck. The plane crashed on takeoff in Munich, claiming the lives of 23 people, including 8 players. The entire football world was in mourning. The fact that the talented young lads had so much to give the world and yet couldn't was deeply tragic. Their legacy, however, extends beyond the tragedy. Manager Sir Matt Busby, though seriously injured, miraculously survived. He rebuilt the team brick by painful brick, eventually winning the European Cup a decade later. This was a great tribute to the unwavering spirit of Manchester United and their fans. The Munich air disaster may have stolen a generation of talent, but it couldn't extinguish the burning passion of the club and its supporters. These moments are part of the story, the highs and the lows that make this game so darn beautiful. They show the passion, the heartbreak, and the resilience of players and fans alike. Sometimes a loss can even create a legend, a what-if story that lives on forever. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.